Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Bricks King podcast, where I'm going to bend your ear about Lego, review those amazing bricks of plastic, and discuss what is new and up and coming around the Lego world. I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's build on it. Welcome in, everybody. How you doing today? Lovely. Hopefully, we are finally able to get to some of the most fun interviews that I have done in a bit, this time at Albuquerque, New Mexico. And today you're going to hear the first of 6 of them, 6 awesome people. And believe it or not, the last one was very not expected, but it's got a lot of cool stuff to go along with it. So the convention was great. I had such a blast there. It was really, for a first year convention in a city that, I don't want to say that Albuquerque doesn't have this giant, massive passion of people. It's just, it's a smaller city, than what I'm used to with, Dallas or Fort Worth, some of the largeness, Austin, Houston, cities that I travel to often. So to go to somewhere different, see a new show, a first time show, and how well it went and how much was actually displayed, I was really honestly shocked. A few years ago, been almost 2 years at this point now, the show down in Killeen, Texas, outside of the Army base there, the first 2 years, that first year it was a little quiet. The second year it actually got better, more people, stuff like that. And then it hasn't been back yet. Hopefully next year, that would be phenomenal. But I'm really impressed with how many people were coming out in comparison to the other events. And Robert, the organizer, you'll hear an interview with him here in a few days. But the interesting thing about that is he had mentioned that Albuquerque is just a show up kind of place. People aren't really buying ahead of time. People are driving past it, seeing, oh, what's going on there? Let's go ahead and stop in. And I got to say, the 6-7 hours that I was there, 8 hours, the trickle of people was phenomenal. It just kept going and going and going. And, next year, I hope it's even better and bigger and there's more display stuff. And you're going to get to hear a lot of cool stuff over these next few episodes with all the guests that I had, just because there was so much. And it was just so intriguing and fascinating to hear, their stories, but also what they built and why they built it. That is always the most intriguing part to me is, why do you build something? Well, of course you can build it. You have the pieces, you have the parts, you can acquire them, but why? There's always a reason, and the why is really, really intriguing here, especially with the gentleman that you're about to hear from. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get into the interview. Alrighty, guys, we are here with our interviewee, first one of the day here in the New Mexico Albuquerque Brick Convention. It's right over there on the sign. ABC. I'm here with Brennon. Brennon, thank you for taking some time out of your day to come join me on the show today.
Of course.
You've got a really wicked build over there. You've already said it's been super popular. Obviously it has, because it's been open for what? It's been open for 30 minutes, and I've seen probably 50 people walk by. Some are standing at the distance, and then some are talking to you. So, again, thank you for joining me. I'd love to hear about your the build that you brought.
So this is actually my first mock. It's the USS Arizona. It's a 200 scale with just shy under 6,000 pieces on it. So it's roughly about like 38 inches long. I have it motorized. The propellers move. The turrets traverse. Unfortunately, I can't get them to elevate.
Oh, the turrets do?
Yeah, the turrets traverse. They do the left and right. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's such a small build, I can't get the barrels to go up and down, unfortunately. Sure. It's funny because I built an ammo crate to go with it for travel. Mm-hmm. I used recycled pellets to do that.
I saw that. That's pretty sharp.
I tried to make it look authentic to the time period as possible. Okay. That's why I spray painted the whole U.S. Navy Arizona on there.
Yeah. So you've got some literature over there with it as well.
Yeah.
Forgive me, this is going to sound dumb. because I cannot remember. Is this the one that sank in Pearl Harbor?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, this is the one. Unfortunately, my biggest thing for building.
Oh, your hat says it. Oh, God.
Hat, sure.
I didn't even. Yeah, you're right. My bad.
I built this because I just love Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure why. It's not the tragedy for me.
Sure.
I feel like there's an emotional connection for me with that ship.
Sure.
So when I built this ship, it's my first mock. I haven't built a mock before. I usually buy sets.
Yeah.
When I built this, the biggest goal was to make this as detailed as possible where everyone can recognize it and do justice for the ship and the crew that are still inside her. Like I wanted it to be just a tribute in a sense to that.
I think you've done a pretty good job with it.
It seems like it, yeah, because I finished this build in January, February, and I posted it up on Facebook. And I posted it in 5 different Facebook groups.
Yeah.
New Mexico Lug, adult fans of Legos. There's a Lego building group. And I didn't have any expectation of it blowing up.
Yeah.
I'm just like a little low baller,
yeah.
And all of a sudden within the next morning, it's over 2,000 likes and 300 comments, and I'm like, what is going? No, wait, no, this is not right. This is my first build. I'm not a master here.
Yeah.
I just built the sets, and of course, this is not a set. I actually got the blueprints. I printed out the blueprints for the Arizona.
Okay.
Blew it up to the length I needed. Got transparent paper, printed a graph on there, and then traced it on the graph.
Okay.
So I can see the shapes of where the bricks would be and stuff like that.
Okay.
My mentor, Marshall, who, me and him work at the state fair. Mm-hmm. Well, I work at the state fair. He's the judge. He's been the judge at the state fair for Legos for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And I've always looked up to him, and he gave me that idea, just do this. So, I just wanted to be as accurate as possible, So, I didn't really plan on putting motors in it, and it was an afterthought.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's motorized now.
Yeah. My fiance, I don't know how I would do it without her, but my fiance paid for all the parts. She was like, I'm not letting you give up on this, because there's so many times I had the quote unquote, I hit the brick wall.
Yeah, of course.
And there were so many times I wanted to give up on it,
right.
And she wouldn't let me give up on it. And she paid for all the parts for it, even the motors. She even paid to get it in here for the entry. But like I was saying with the group, it blew up. I reached out to so many people when I saw it explode even more.
Yeah. I
even got people who were telling me hey, I have a family member in Arizona, and they'd be so proud of what you did, how accurate it is, how well you've represented it, and I cried.
Oh,
it was too much for me.
I can imagine.
And then I'm reading a post from one of the New Mexico Lug group saying, hey, one of our buddies in New Mexico just got recognized by Beyond the Brick. And I was like, oh, I wonder who that was. It was obviously not me. And I look, he shared the post, and I see my picture. I see this goofy ass hat, and I'm like, oops. I'm like, no. So, I guess I am a big Arizona fanatic. If you got closer, you'd see that there's actually the challenge coins of the Pennsylvania class.
Yep.
There's Pennsylvania and Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
So as you saw, like you said, you mentioned the info plaques that I made. They're talking about a little bit of the history. There's a picture on one of them that actually shows a photograph from the Japanese bomber perspective as they're attacking Battleship Row.
Is that what you have over there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It has that little character. It looks like she's shining a laser on there, pointing out her. You can see Vestal right next to her. You can see Nevada right behind her, and you can see the splash marks from explosions.
Okay.
So I mostly have that set up for the state fair because I'm like I said, I work at the state fair. I've been a judge for 5 years for the state fair, but I've worked there for 3. And my biggest thing is let's make this fun. The Infoplex fun for the kids to get into it. So there's an anime character on there from an anime show in a game called Azure Lane.
Okay.
It's Arizona as if she was a girl.
Oh, okay.
That one anime.
I gotcha. Yeah.
So it's that the production company who does that game and show, they go all out in historical factors. So they make sure that is accurate. So it's it is the spirit. When I do that, it is like letting Arizona talk to herself. I put little dialogue bubbles, just to explain stuff like that.
I saw that.
So
that's incredible. I did want to bring up this point because I did hear you mention it to somebody as I was standing there for a little bit.
Yeah.
You brought up about the Titanic because you pulled something out. You said something about a key,
right?
As if
right.
you could take it apart like the Titanic.
Right. So with the Titanic Lego set that Lego came out with a couple of years ago, that's like 9,000 pieces long.
Yep.
It's built to separate in 3 different parts. And I call them keys because they look like keys. You know, you take it apart and then the ship comes apart in sections.
Right,
and
absolutely.
I use that same design as inspiration. Mostly, I don't have an interior like Titanic does.
Yeah.
But mostly for ease of transport. So it just like the Titanic, it comes apart in 3 sections. The front, unfortunately, has 2 keys that I have to pull out, fight with to pull out.
Yeah.
And then the front section from between turret 2 and turret 1 separate.
Okay.
The rear section is a little more complicated to take the key out because I have to take the rear conning tower out. That's that big, long white tower that's on the ship.
Okay.
I have to take that off first. I have to take off some of the details off first to get to the key and pull the key out. And it's just one key holding that, and it separates right behind turret 3.
Okay.
So I know I have too much details.
No, it's important, and I'm going to say this: I've talked to a lot of people over the years, as far as mock building goes. I've never run into somebody that's built their first mock, and it looked like that thing on the table over there. And when I say that, I mean that in the most sincere. Blown away, impressed moment, just because, like, I saw it, I was like, holy crap, this thing is incredible, and then you blow me away. Oh, it's my first mock. What?
See, like, what made it easy for this build, and like my fiance has already said, you're building another battleship. You're building New Mexico next. I'm like, that makes sense. BB-39 now BB-40 New Mexico class. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, thanks, babe. But like, what made it easy is I kind of figured that the Titanic, because it's designed the same style as Titanic, very smooth, like from a distance. Titanic, for my opinion, when you build that set and you're standing like 5 feet, 10 feet away from it, you don't know you can't tell it's a Lego set because it's super smooth. There's no studs, there's hardly any studs showing.
Right.
So I've always wanted an Arizona Lego set, but Lego is not going to do military.
Right. That'll never happen.
They don't want to promote military and stuff like that, but yet they have Star Wars and everything else.
You're right.
Fantasy military is fine, but realistic, no. But like, I never liked the style of traditional boat building techniques because for me, I'm dyslexic and it's hard for me to see the details like that.
Sure.
So I never really wanted to touch it. But then once I saw the Titanic and how that looked, I was like, Arizona. This somehow transfer this whole technique and just translate it for an Arizona, which was even more of a challenge because a lot of the slopes, the curvatures of Arizona are not found on Titanic.
Yeah.
So I had to make some like setbacks on going, okay, it's going to look a little blocky, but it still looks good.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I mean, you're even with the Titanic, there's only so many pieces in the inventory that allow you to get the right curve in the right spot. Even the Titanic has its finicky bits, and it's like, it kind of looks a little odd. For the parts that are out there, for what you need, I think you did a damn good job.
I'm starting to see that. It's just really hard for me to accept that. It's just like,
of course.
But like, the more I'm hearing it, the more I actually am feeling a little more emotional. Yeah. Like, literally, I didn't think like half this would happen. Going viral for a day with Lego for my build. Now even doing this podcast, like I just thought I was a little nobody.
Well, I'm going to tell you, if you take something like that to one of the big shows, now this, Albuquerque, this is the first year, like it's a thing. But if you take something like that to, Brick World Chicago, you take it to Brick Rodeo, you take it to Brick Slips, you're going to have your military group of guys there, and you're going to have people at every convention that are just blown away with it. It doesn't matter whether they have a story behind or they, like you said, they have a family member that's entombed or anything like that. It could be simply just, this is incredible. And I think you if you get the opportunity to go to a big convention, you've got to take it.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And right now, it's just financially. Right now, it's hard for me to travel like that. And I do want to travel with it. That's why I built that ammo box. You know.
Yeah.
So like one of my dreams is to actually. I haven't gone there yet. I want to go to the actual ship memorial site.
Okay.
To see it. A buddy of mine did that, and he did a live stream for me. But it wasn't enough. Obviously, you know, I have to be there. You know, and then it's like, and then over in Arizona, they Scottsdale. No, not Scottsdale.
I don't know.
I don't remember what it's called. I've been talking about it so much, and then I'm forgetting it. Dyslexia wins again. There's a new memorial that they just opened right during, like, they started construction during the pandemic.
Okay.
And it's called the USS Arizona Memorial Gardens.
Oh, okay.
So it's half on water, half on land. And and the cool thing is that they have these light poles that make out the silhouette of the ship.
Oh, that is cool.
And it kind of looks unfinished because if you I haven't been there yet, but that's definitely on the to-do list, and it's closer to home. I can do that easily. But it looks a little unfinished because there's gaps in the light poles, and there's actually a real significance why there's gaps in the light poles. Like you go light, gap, light.
Sure.
And it's because the gapping of the lights represents the survivors of the ship during that day.
Okay.
The lights represents the people who are still entombed and died during that battle.
Okay.
So the lights make the outline of the ship. Like even in the water, they even have a circle to represent where the turrets are and stuff. And they have an artifact of Arizona from the tops, from what was like above the water. They actually have a building that surrounds an artifact from Arizona there. So I want to go and visit that, you know. And I kind of joke.
That is pretty cool.
I kind of joke, and you know, I might end up doing it. I kind of joke that I'm going to take the Arizona with me and go take pictures over there, holding the Arizona with the
should.
You know,
you should. And
then,
without a doubt.
And then the same thing in Phoenix, Arizona, during the capital area, they have the barrel, the 14-inch barrel of one of the guns of Arizona, on display right there. They have a 16-inch barrel of, I think it's Missouri.
Yeah.
Next to it. But then they have the Arizona flag mast that they removed during modernization. One of the few modernizations they've done on her.
Okay. Before
the attack happened, and then they have one of the anchors over there on display. So it's like I want to go there and take the Arizona there and just take pictures with that.
That'd be cool.
Especially if I could do that in Hawaii with the big ship. You know?
And you know what? You know what the thing is? If you get the opportunity, you 100% need to. But it would be a huge boost. It's another thing for the community over there, for them, that they could put in their feather, or put a feather in their cap and be like, hey, like this guy. There's ways that they can promote that and stuff like that, just because it's, you know, it's a big deal. Anything military is a big deal, you know, in this country. And that'd be really cool. That'd be really cool to see. So I hope you can. I hope you can get it around the U.S.
Right.
Then, you know, maybe over there at some point. But I want to shift gears real quick.
Yes, of course.
You obviously, your first mock, you said that you were a set builder for the longest time.
Yep.
So everybody's got a journey with the plastic brick. Where did your journey begin?
So I want to say it was
when you popped out of the womb like everybody else, right?
No. I didn't really, you know, I came from a slightly poverty family.
Same.
So, you know, my nana, I call her, she's my grandmother, I call her my nana. My nana, you know, she relied on her Social Security, you know, because she had disability and stuff. But like, it was like second or third grade, I got diagnosed with dyslexia. Mm-hmm. And the school I was in said, like, we can't do that. We don't have a program for that. But there are things that can help. You know, his hand-eye coordination is one of the things he's struggling with.
So real quick.
Yeah.
I don't want to date you necessarily.
Right.
But how old are you?
I am going to be 32.
Okay. I just want to give context for somebody that may be listening and be like, what are you talking about?
Currently 31.
I'm a teacher, and like, there's all kinds of dyslexia programs. I wanted to give that context there because you're right, there wasn't. So I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
I wanted
to
put that in there.
You're good. The more details, the better. You know that.
Yeah.
But so like, they suggested to my grandmother and my nana, give him puzzles. Mm-hmm. Like that'll help his hand-eye coordination. And my grandmother looked at the teacher and was like, "What about Legos?" And they're like, "Yeah, Legos help."
Yeah.
And so my nana started buying me Lego sets from that point. And ever since then, you know, I've been building with Legos, building sets. I did have what some of the community calls a Lego dark age, where I stopped building Legos from like, I think I was like from 13 to about like actually 21. You know, there was like at least a 10-year gap in there, somewhere around there. And then I got back into it. I think my first set getting back into it was I think it was the Saturn. The Saturn
Rocket
5. Yeah. And then, you know, I started dating this amazing girl. She's my fiance, and she started buying me Legos. Like, hey, you want to buy me this Lego? And she's like, yeah, done. And then the Millennium Falcon came out.
The big one?
The big one.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I've always wanted a UCS one. And I'm thinking like, oh, it's probably going to be $400. My first UCS Lego set was the 2003 Star Destroyer, the original version.
Okay.
And that was $300. So I'm thinking logically like, oh, it's probably going to be like that much. And then they announced it. They announced the parts. Like, holy crap, about $400. And then all of a sudden they announced the price. $800. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, Lego's taking it too far. Nope. My fiance just looks at. She sees how upset I am about it because I'm ranting to her. She's like, "What if I spend half? What if I pay half of it?" No. She looks at me. It's done. I'm like, I'm not going to negotiate out of this. And she's like, no. I'm like, okay. I know not to argue. When a girl says it's done, like I'm doing it, there's no getting out of that. So I was like, okay.
Is that true? Oh, she's not listening. My wife's here. Anyway, yeah. Okay, so UCS Millennium Falcon, you brave soul.
I have a lot more UCS sets
I believe it. So
thanks to her.
So moving up, I mean, you're collecting stuff. Do you have a favorite theme?
Star Wars.
Star Wars. So it is Star Wars.
Yeah.
All right. Is there a certain time period or a certain? I know there's like so many universes of Star Wars now, where it's like Bad Batch, and you got this and you got that. I don't know any of that. Is there a certain time period, movie-wise, other universe-wise, or is it just Star Wars Lego in general?
It's Star Wars in general. I just love all the ships, all the characters and stuff like that. Like, I should just focus on just Lego UCS sets because it'd be a little easier. Like, I live in a small,
less pricey
and room.
I live
in a small, a little apartment here in Albuquerque, and my fiance is like, "Okay, you turn the house into a museum of Lego because I do the play sets and the UCS sets, you know." But like, I managed to get one of my white whales,
which is
the UCS Naboo Starfighter.
Okay.
When it first came out in I think it was 1999 or 2000, it was $40 for that UCS set, and I missed out on it. I didn't know about that, and the guy I consider my mentor. It's like, hey, I'm clearing out some space. Here's what I want to help you get the parts for your Arizona. What colors do you need? I told him the colors. He's like, gives me like 5 boxes of Legos, and in one of the boxes I had to piece it back together, but it had the UCS Naboo Starfighter in there. So
did you cry?
I cried.
You cried.
I called him up. I was like, I'm on the phone with him. Is this a mistake? And he's like, he's such a chill guy, so positive oriented. He's just like, nothing in life is a mistake.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you sure you don't want any extra money?
Can I do anything else for you, sir?
Right. He's like, nope, that's just for you. And I'm like, okay. And he hangs up. I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah. So then, obviously, Star Wars, big thing. If aside from Star Wars, if there is a theme that Lego is not doing anymore, or something that from their catalog you're like, I really wish they would re-release it, whether it be a theme or a set, what would it be?
I think
other than Star Wars, you can't say Star Wars.
I know. I think it would have to be the old classic castle sets.
Okay.
Like I saw that they brought out that like anniversary one. But like I'm talking about the old play set. I had them at one point. I lost them, but it's like those were still kind of cool. The chrome pieces, the knights, the king, and the little battle packs to go with them. Yeah. So I definitely would love to see that. I didn't.
Very cool.
That was the only other one I managed to get into. So.
Well, I mean, it's. They hold. Everybody has their own, white whales. Right. Everybody has their themes that they wish they, could have gotten caught up on or were alive at that time period when it was available.
Right.
So it's. I usually hear a lot of classic space, pirates, castle a lot. I was talking to somebody I cannot remember. Way back in the archives, and it was something more kind of semi-modern, and I was like, wait, what? Okay. So You just kind of fall with the percentage. And what that should say is to the Lego group, like, look, I know we're re-releasing these new modernized version of these old sets.
And expensive.
But let's get some more out there, because the community's there. And, the age of, I forget what they call it now, but the nostalgia group is now going back and repurchasing things from their childhood, and it's like, here's your prime opportunity.
Oh yeah, that's like, a lot of people are saying that, like, look how long it took Lego to make the UCS Venator, when people have been asking that for like decades.
Yeah,
ever since it first came out on this big screen. They just released that. So it's crazy, like that. You wonder, is Lego really listening to us? Is they really there? Kind of thing. I do want to believe they're not as, like, like how people, like, the negative view that people put on them, like, oh, they're just out for the money,
Sure.
I do want to say that they are doing, like, especially with the Star Wars, it gets a lot of, like, criticism.
It does.
So
very much so. And at the end of the day, I always come back to, it is a toy.
Right.
It is a toy. They are a toy company. They are a $9 billion toy company, but they are a toy company. So, well, Brennan, where can people find, I'm going to be posting on Instagram a couple pictures of your build over here, but where can people find you if they want to maybe see something that you're working on in the future? You talked about the New Mexico, so anything?
I don't have like a professional Facebook page for like my mocks and stuff, but I do have a Facebook page for my Lego Creative Arts for the State Fair.
Okay, well, shout it out. Let's hear it.
So let me.
You got to pull the card out.
I have to, because it's like it's kind of long, and where's my phone?
He's got it somewhere here. I promise. This is the best radio.
So, sorry,
I put him on the spot.
Yes, you did. I wasn't anticipating this, just in general. So, my Facebook page is called Expo NM State Fair, Lego Division of the Creative Arts.
Okay.
That page is there because I work at the Creative Arts for the State Fair here in Albuquerque.
Sure.
I worked there for 2 years. They pretty much said that, oh, that Lego area is yours. So I kind of give myself the slogan, I'm the Lego guy at the State Fair.
Yeah.
So that has like the events that's coming up for the State Fair. August 23rd and 24th is our intake days for entries to be displayed throughout the State Fair.
Okay.
But we do have our first ever at the State Fair coming up in September 14th, our first ever 2-hour live build competition.
That is cool.
It's kind of like the Lego Masters kind of thing.
That is cool. Are there already people? Do you have to? I'm assuming people have to register for it, or did they recruit people? How did that work?
So we can register you. If you look at the event page and you'll scroll down, you'll see what I need. You just DM me your name, your address, and stuff like that, and I'll register you in, save that spot. Otherwise, it's more whatever we don't fill up during that day. It's on the spot, whoever, if you are interested, come on. There's no fee on there. It's just
very cool.
But I already have a couple of adults who already registered. I have 2 more spots in the adult category to register. Right now it's 3 age divisions, 4 entries per age division. Very cool.
And you said when the deadline is August 23rd?
So that is for intake for displaying your builds.
Okay.
August 23rd and 24th, it's a Friday and Saturday. At the Expo New Mexico.
Okay.
It's a $5 entrance for just one time. So you can bring in like multiple stuff. We do at the Creative Arts, we do a lot more than just the Legos, obviously.
Yeah.
We do have like woodworking models and stuff like that. I on my QR code, even on the Facebook page, there's a link that goes straight to the Creative Arts website.
Yeah.
I have to, not that I have to, it's not like they're forcing me, but I have to advertise all of that, because if I don't do that and I'm the only guy who gets entries, I'm gonna lose a home.
Yeah, you're right.
They're gonna evict me like, 300 plus for Legos. How many did we get in the other departments? None. Get out.
Yeah.
So, but then it's September 14th at 1 to 3 for the building competition.
Okay.
So with the intakes, those are displayed throughout the whole fair, so everyone sees it. Everyone's a winner. I love that part.
Yeah,
everyone
absolutely.
gets a ribbon there. So, and then this year for our competition, since it's the first competition for the 2-hour build, everyone's a winner. So
that's cool. Very,
I
very
love
cool.
promoting it like that, because it's like, I don't like going like, sorry, you don't get a prize.
No, I get it. But Anything else that you want to share real quick before we get out of here?
I will say this for anyone who is struggling to try their first mock was a realization when I started building the Arizona. I had all the parts. I don't know, tin can, and I dumped them all on the table, and it was a mess. And I stopped and looked at it, and I realized, and it's also a good like little life lesson, is everything you start is always going to start off as a mess until you organize it and clean it up. And then look, it started with a big old mess of Legos, and now I have the Arizona completed.
Yeah, so I like that. We got to shorten it to put it on a sticker, but
right.
No, I like that. That's really good words of wisdom, because I know there's a lot of mockers out there, especially first time. It seems so daunting, and all you have to do is just put your hands in it and just go. That's the thing. It can always be changed. It can always be adjusted.
And it's just like what's his name? That celebrity. I can't think of his name. He's on The Voice.
I don't know.
Anyways, I want to say it was like Ty something, but he posted a Facebook page or a Facebook post after being on Lego Masters for one episode.
Yeah.
And he even said, and I use this to the adults when I see them at the fair, is that Legos are the best life lesson, because if they fall and break, you can always put them back together.
Yeah.
And I had a little twist saying that even if they fall and break, you can always put them back together. But if you have the skills better than before, you can make them even better than what they were.
Yeah, absolutely. They're 100% right, without a doubt. So, Brennon, thank you for joining me today, and I hope your build goes world viral.
That's a bit much, but I'll accept it if it happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be open to it.
All right. Well, thanks again, Brennon, and hopefully I can run into you again next year here. Maybe you have something else, maybe not. Either way,
I'm definitely gonna see what we can do for next year. I'm taking a break after this, so if anything, I'll probably do something for a year after next year.
All right. Well, thanks again, Brennon.
Thank you.
Well, that'll wrap it up. A great interview. Brennon was so much fun to chat with. You should have really seen his passion. I mean, you could hear it obviously on this interview, but to see his passion talking to people as they're walking by and getting to experience, his love, joy, desire for, the mock that he built and just the history accompanied with it is really cool. So it was a really great opportunity, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. We do, like I said, there's more coming up. I've got 5 more of these, and they're all equally unique and special and fantastic in their own way. So I hope you stick around and check the rest of them. Until we meet again, I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's build on it.